Now, I know everybody is gonna be up in arms with this chapter on what Tara did. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first read this chapter, before I read it a second time, I was a little bit upset. I was upset with Tara, and I was like, you had one job. You had one job. You just had to hold Mel's arm, hold him down, and then he would be saved. You had one freaking job. That's what I said when I first read the chapter. And then I reread it again, and I sat and thought about it, and I'm like, I'm not Tar. And so I have personally never been through the experience he has went through, and I've never got to see a brother, that has potentially suffered for 3,000 plus years. I've never got to see that. It's never happened to me. I don't think anyone would probably understand how that is, because obviously nothing like that's ever happened to any of us. And you gotta imagine, Tar's always been that character that's been a really good-natured person. He's always, helped out Elizabeth when she needed something. He's helped out Elizabeth. He's, gone with what Elizabeth wanted, for instance, helping out Derriere and Mon. I mean, it's always been something like that. Tar's always been a good person. He's always been a little bit softer, kind towards Mel as well, from what we've seen from the flashbacks. So, I mean, when you think about everything, Tar doing what he did in this chapter, it makes perfect sense with his character. And I know many are going to come into this, chapter and be like, I don't like him now. He's a horrible character. But in reality, I like him even more now after what he did. I'm sad that because of his actions, Derriere is pretty much dead now, which she's honestly one of my favorite female characters. I've loved her a lot, and just seeing how she's now gone, I'm like, well, that freaking sucks. But at the very least, she might be able to rest in peace and be with Mon, thankfully, and her sister. So I guess that's one upside to everything that happened within this chapter. But anyways, though, Tar doing what he did, I cannot put it against him. I can't hold it against him, that what he did was wrong. I mean, yes, he probably caused Mel to continue to suffer for the remainder of the series, potentially causing it to where Mel can never be redeemed, and potentially causing it to where Mel is going to kill everyone there, for instance, Tar and Sar. But regardless of all of that, Tar did the thing in his best intentions. He cared so much about Mel, which is what happened, what caused the events to unfold like it did in this chapter. You see, the way the panels were done, when you saw how Mel's facial expression was done, how he's like, help me, don't do this and all that, he was just this agony within his face, this despair, the way Nakaba-sensei drew that, the emotions with that, I was like, whoa, like, that's really, like, disturbing. And when Tar was looking at his own brother, basically, going through that, you gotta imagine how painful that would be. It'd be extremely painful to see something like that happen to your brother, especially when you know they've been through something horrible for 3,000 years. That's even worse. It's very apparent from the way Nakaba-sensei was trying to write this chapter, is that Mel is so far gone. He's such a fallen angel now. He's pretty much like Lucifer, that he is no longer going to be able to forgive anyone. If you stand in his way by any means, he will not forgive you. He will show you despair. In this case, what he said to Sar and Tar in this chapter kind of explains that. He's like, why are you standing in my way, protecting the Fairy King and the person that caused all this misery and all that, the despair I felt for over 3,000 years. And Tar was like, I understand how you feel. And, the way Mel expressed himself is like, you understand how I feel, what I've been through? Like, no, you have not. And so just, like, the way all of that was done, I'm like, whoa, like, Mel's reaction to everything and how he's so angry and upset and, despaired, just, like, anyone that stands in his way, he's going to take out everything he has on them. Like, that's what he's going to do. And so, with Tar fighting back against Mel and Sar as well, Mel now, because of what state of mind he's in, or how he's now been permanently changed thanks to everything, he's definitely going to take them out. And I feel like Tar is probably going to be the first one to die after Derriere, because of what he did. And I feel like if he does live, he's going to have a lot of guilt within himself. And the reason why is because, once again, I'm going back to what I just stated in this video. He's a good person at the end of the day. Even though he's a goddess, part of the goddess clan, and, he has always been against the demons, I feel like he might have a little bit of guilt about Derriere. Because at the end of the day, Elizabeth wanted to save Derriere, and, he helped out, and obviously Derriere and Elizabeth were kind of friends, and so being responsible for that is going to hurt him a lot, especially if he gets to watch Mel go out and just destroying everybody like it's nothing. He's going to despair even more because he's having to witness what his actions caused. You know, everybody dying around him that, you know, could have been saved if he would have just, you know, focused on Mel and keeping him restrained. But at the same time, this goes with the conflict of what Mel has been through. Remember, Mel has been like the, you know, the person that's been taking everything upon himself for 3,000 plus years. And obviously that's why Tar didn't want to do it. Why he didn't want to just place all the pain on him is because he's been through so much, he didn't want to see that anymore. He doesn't want to see his brother despair and be in pain. So he didn't want to force all the pain and misery on him. He just wants him to not have to deal with that anymore. But we know the results of what happened. But okay, anyways, let's also talk about Derriere's determination and what kind of happened to her. You know, what did happen to her. She's dead. Her last remaining heart, she's gone. Dead. I'm kind of sad that she died. I really am. I like Derriere. I liked Derriere. And I hope this isn't the last time we see of her, because we do know when it comes to Taizai, we know that we have seen characters that are dead appear again. We have seen this. It's something that happens quite often, actually. But at the same time, I don't think I want Derriere and Mon to come back to life. I believe that they should stay dead. I mean, I think that, you know, we should forget about them, and I don't think the weight of what they did should be gone, but I think they should stay dead because, you know, it fits with the theme of the story, what's going on right now within the story and what Mel's going through. I feel like bringing them back would be very cheap, so I think they should stay dead, which would give a lot of emotional weight to Elizabeth as well, to kick her into gear to do something, which I'll get into that in a moment about Elizabeth. But Derriere, she's dead, and as I already kind of stated in this video, it's kind of a good thing, because that means that she can be with Mon and her sister. And so, we know that the concept of the afterlife is in this series. Not just purgatory, but the afterlife. And so, she's going to be able to meet up with the people she cares about. And so, I guess it's relatively a good, happy ending for Derriere, even though she didn't get to finish what she wanted in stopping the Holy War. And it sucks that thanks to the actions of Tar as to why she had to die in the first place. Because I felt like she was officially going to become a part of the main cast and start fighting, but we saw how that turned out. Now, speaking of Elizabeth, let's get into her for a second. Elizabeth, I'm a little bit disappointed with you. I'm a little bit disappointed with her as a character right now. Let me explain. As we know, Elizabeth is definitely one of the strongest characters right now in that area. And just as a refresher, in case you don't understand what I'm talking about, remember, she was fighting the Supreme Goddess and Demon King with Meliodas at the same time, okay? That's not something you do if you're a weak person, by any means. And I don't think Meliodas was that strong to fight both of them at once. Yes, they got destroyed, but they were fighting together. It was very apparent by the way the scene in the manga was depicted. So, yeah, Elizabeth is incredibly strong, and there's some speculation that she's above the Archangels in terms of strength. Now, she may not be a physical combat type person where she can fight in physical combat. She's definitely extremely strong to be able to fight with Meliodas against the Supreme Goddess and Demon King. So seeing her kind of sit by and not really do anything in this chapter kind of irked me a bit, because even if she can't get in there and start fist fighting, you know, Mel and all that, she can heal everybody, okay? I mean, she has such good healing from what we've already seen displayed that she should be able to heal King that's battered and bruised like nothing. That is why I'm a little bit upset with her. I'm not upset with the fact that, you know, Derriere is dead. I don't even think Elizabeth, even with her great heals, can even heal Derriere back. I really doubt that one. But just the fact is King is all battered, beat up. So is Galther as well. But she's not even healing them. And I'm like, Elizabeth, like, I've defended you so many times in this series. I have. You can go back and look at my reviews. I've defended Elizabeth and saying she's not useless. But at this moment, in this chapter, she is being useless. She legit is. And I'm upset with that because I have defended Elizabeth many times. And Elizabeth, get up, heal them. Even if you can't fight, heal them. Heal all of them. They need healing right now, okay? You're the white mage. You're the healer. Get in there. Heal them up because they're going to die if you don't. So, I mean, yeah, Elizabeth, please, stop being useless right now. You are obviously one of the strongest characters right now in that area, not doing anything. I'm not saying that she might be able to beat Mel, but you obviously could be able to do something at the very least. Come on. So yeah, I'm sorry, a little bit of a rant over. It just, that bugged me while reading this chapter, especially after thinking about it on my second read. I'm like, she didn't do anything when she easily could heal up King that is so beat up and hurt. Like, why haven't you done anything? But okay, anyways, let's talk about Galther for a second. So many might wonder, like, why didn't Galther try to get into his mind and really start tampering with things and all that? Well, we gotta remember, Galther is feeling extremely guilty right now. He feels very guilty after what the OG Galther did, and everything that has happened to Mel. You know, he deserves to take out his aggression, his anger. And so, because of that, that is why Galther's not using the full extent of his abilities to bring down Mel in certain ways like he normally would, is because of the guilt he feels. So, I guess it's probably one of the worst times for Galther to get human emotions, because honestly, we need the OG Galther right now, or the original, you know, doll Galther, to be able to step in and do something. So it's kind of inconvenient when you think about it. But I think that's pretty much about it when it comes to this chapter of Taizai. And how do you feel about what happened to Derriere? How do you feel about Tar and how he technically is responsible for Derriere's death? Be honest in the comments below. I'm very curious to see how all of you feel about that. And I'm glad to just have Taizai back, because I was honestly missing it last week when we had a side story. I didn't even know we were just getting a side story. So a little bit upset, honestly, because I was really looking forward to a chapter, which I'm glad it finally came out. But anyways, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.